Now, while Waste Management Interwaste believes that there are some solutions to the country's power cuts crisis, let's hear what those solutions are with Marketing Director Kate Stubbs. Thank you so much for your time, Kate. I mean, at this point, we'll take any solution, even if it's got to do with waste. Tell us what you believe could be the possible solution to our power cuts.
Well, maybe not solving all the power cuts, but we certainly need help, as we recently heard, in terms of diversifying our energy mix. And South Africa, we also have a looming waste crisis. And there are many technologies, proven technologies, which can convert our waste to energy. So we certainly believe that that is something that should be considered on a larger scale in the country.
Certainly. Okay, maybe just tell us about these solutions. How do we use waste to solve this power crisis? So maybe just get into further detail about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, waste, we have all sorts of types of waste, from our organic waste, our household waste, food waste. So, for instance, there's anaerobic digestion technology, biogas technology. Typically treats organic waste, wood chips, that type of waste. Then there's a lot of technology in terms of thermal types of technology that can convert both general, so other, once again, municipal solid waste or even hazardous waste into energy sources, electricity, steam, and they can be applied at a smaller scale or a larger scale. Those type of plants on a large scale operate all across Europe and more developed countries, providing power to cities, and they operate within the city. I think there's quite a large perception that incinerating or thermally destructing waste creates a lot of pollution, but those type of technologies have first world types of scrubbers and filters that clean the air before they any type of emissions come out. So they're actually incredibly clean, and most waste to energy technologies are at least a third more efficient than coal-fired power stations. You also have pyrolysis technology, another type of heat technology. So there are a variety of types of technologies. Many of them can be scaled quite efficiently to produce electricity and steam and power.
Certainly. I mean, we'll take whatever we can get at this point, because really this is possibly one of the biggest issues that we face as a country at this moment. I'm wondering, though, how businesses are able to also implement this kind of technology so that they can make a difference within their businesses, because they are obviously struggling. Many have to rely on generators and diesel, and that's just a huge cost. But how do businesses get involved in this kind of technology? And I'm also just curious, maybe the question can be twofold. How much electricity can be generated with these projects and this kind of technology? You know, how many megawatts, if we can pin it down to megawatts?
For sure. So maybe the first one on businesses, how can businesses get involved? Well, I think most businesses, as you said, have reverted to generators because they're easy and fast to implement, but they're not very environmentally friendly, and it's high cost to run diesel generators. Besides the fact that they're noisy and often smelly and smoky. Many businesses we've seen convert to solar. I think the solar technology nowadays is much more affordable and available. And so solar, certainly, especially considering our South African context, both from a household and business perspective, even large mines are looking at larger scale solar plants. So I think solar has its advantage. The disadvantage being that solar works when the sun's shining, and you can't, and so not 24/7. On a waste side, we're certainly small businesses, even farms and agricultural businesses have smaller types of biogas plants. We also use certain waste streams and we convert it to an energy. We call that refuse-derived fuel. So a lot of your multi-layered packaging, your beautifully packaged goods, which are printed beautifully, can't be recycled due to the fact that they're multi-layered, often with foil and fiber or plastic and fiber. Now, we convert that to a refuse-derived fuel, which is the same quality as A-grade coal. And we've done lots of work feeding those, co-feeding that into cement kilns as a replacement for coal. And we do that locally, but on a larger scale is produced in terms of Europe. Some cement kilns run at 80% of refuse-derived fuel, which is much more carbon efficient than coal. Some of the challenges with waste to energy are a cost perspective, that waste to energy solutions are typically twice as expensive as wind or solar, but the benefit is you're taking a waste that would have been disposed of, and there's a cost to disposal besides environmental issues, and converting that to a resource. And waste to energy plants can run 24/7, so they create a good base load. From a small scale for companies, I think it's challenging, but what they can do is look at optimizing their energy efficiency, using their waste or converting their waste into an energy source with waste management providers. So they can certainly contribute to reducing the load on the environment and using their waste into alternative means.
Okay, fantastic. This sounds like a great initiative, and hopefully we can make some sort of difference given the energy crisis we are facing. Thank you so much for your time. That is Marketing Director at Interwaste, Kate Stubbs.